The grocery store lights flickered faintly above, buzzing softly as the clock struck past 9. The aisles were nearly empty except for a few late night shoppers grabbing essentials. At the checkout counter, a young man in worn-out jeans and a faded t-shirt stood with his baby girl perched on his shoulder. His name was Daniel, a single father barely holding life together. His daughter, Lily, barely 2 years old, clutched his shirt with tiny fists as she dozed against his chest. In his other hand, he held a small pack of diapers, the only thing he came for. Daniel pulled out his wallet, its leather cracked and thin. Inside were just a few crumpled bills, carefully saved from his last day of work. His throat tightened as he whispered under his breath, "This should be enough. Please let it be enough." The cashier scanned the diapers, the beeping sound echoing louder than usual in Daniel's ears. The total glowed on the screen, just over what he had. He swallowed hard, carefully counting his last dollar bills and coins, his fingers trembling. Behind him, a small line had formed, 2 women with baskets of groceries and a tall man in a tailored suit waiting quietly. The woman closest sighed impatiently. Daniel's cheeks burned. He leaned toward the cashier and whispered, "I don't need a bag, just the diapers." His stomach growled, but he ignored it. There had been no dinner for him tonight. Everything went to Lily. For Daniel, life had been a storm of loss and sacrifice since his wife passed away suddenly. Bills piled up, jobs came and went, and every day felt like climbing a mountain barefoot. Yet every night when he looked at Lily's innocent face, he promised her one thing: he would never give up on her. Standing just behind Daniel was Michael Carter, a name known in boardrooms and business magazines. He was the CEO of one of the largest firms in the city, a man people envied for his wealth, power, and influence. To the world, he had everything, but inside Michael was hollow. He had no family, no wife waiting at home. No children's laughter echoing through his vast mansion. Years of chasing success had cost him love, companionship, and joy. His victories were celebrated with champagne in empty rooms. As he watched Daniel struggling to count his last few coins, something inside Michael stirred. He studied the young father, the weary eyes, the determined grip on his baby, the way he shielded her as if she were the most precious thing in the universe. Michael felt a pang of recognition, not in what he had, but in what he lacked. "This man is richer than I'll ever be," he thought suddenly, "because he has someone worth fighting for." Lily stirred in her sleep, her tiny face pressing into her father's neck, and Michael's chest tightened. Memories flashed back of his own childhood, when his mother used to rock him to sleep before she passed away. For the first time in years, he felt an ache not for what he had lost, but for what he had never built. The cashier cleared her throat. "Sir, you're a few cents short." Daniel froze, his heart sank. He had counted every coin, every single penny. He thought he had enough. With burning shame, he whispered, "It's okay. I'll put the diapers back." He started to push the pack toward the counter when a calm but firm voice stopped him. "I'll take care of it." Daniel turned. Michael stood there, his credit card already in hand. The cashier blinked in surprise as the CEO slid it across the counter. Daniel's eyes widened. "No, sir, I can't. I can't let you do that." His voice cracked with desperation and pride. Michael gave a faint smile, his eyes kind but steady. "It's not for you, it's for her." He nodded toward Lily, who now blinked sleepily with innocent eyes. The cashier rang up the purchase, and before Daniel could protest again, the receipt printed. Michael picked up the bag with the diapers and handed it to Daniel, who stood frozen in disbelief. The people in line, who had been growing impatient, suddenly went silent. Something unspoken filled the air, a reminder that compassion still existed. Outside the store, the night air was cool. Daniel stepped out, still shaken, clutching Lily close. To his surprise, Michael followed him. "Wait," Michael said softly. He held out not only the diapers but also a gift card. For next time, babies need more than just diapers. Daniel's throat tightened, tears stung his eyes, and he shook his head. "I can't take this. I don't want charity. I just want to be a good father." Michael's gaze softened and his voice grew quiet. "Do you know what I see when I look at you? Strength, sacrifice, things I once wished I had." Daniel blinked, confused. But you're," he stopped himself, recognizing the man now. "You're Michael Carter, the CEO." Michael chuckled bitterly. "Titles don't mean much when you go home to an empty house." He paused, his voice heavy with truth. "I have money, but no one to spend it on. You have love, and that is worth more than anything I own." Daniel couldn't hold back the tears anymore. They slipped down his cheeks as Lily reached her tiny hand toward Michael. For a moment, the hardened businessman felt his heart melt. He gently touched the baby's hand, and something shifted inside him. It wasn't pity that drove him, it was gratitude. This struggling father had unknowingly reminded him of what truly mattered. The two men stood there under the streetlight, one with wealth but loneliness, the other with love but hardship. Daniel hugged Lily tighter, whispering, "We'll be okay, baby. Daddy promises." Michael slipped his hands into his pockets, but for the first time in years, a genuine smile tugged at his lips. He felt lighter, almost human again. Before leaving, he said quietly, "Sometimes life puts us in the right place at the right time. Tonight was one of those moments. Don't give up, Daniel. Your little girl already has everything she needs. Your love." As Michael walked back to his car, he glanced once more at the young father and his daughter. He realized something powerful. Tonight, he hadn't just bought diapers. He had bought himself a piece of humanity he had long lost. Daniel watched the man drive away, his heart full. He didn't just receive help that night, he received hope, and hope, he realized, was priceless. In the quiet of that night, two very different lives crossed paths. A broke single father fighting for his daughter's tomorrow, and a wealthy CEO rediscovering the meaning of life through a stranger's struggle. What happened at that checkout counter wasn't just a kind gesture, it was a reminder that compassion still exists in a world that often feels cold. Daniel walked away with more than diapers. He walked away with renewed hope, the strength to keep going, and the assurance that humanity still has a heartbeat. And Michael, the CEO, walked away with something his money could never buy, the warmth of connection, the reminder that love and family are life's true treasures. It doesn't take millions to change a life. Sometimes it only takes a few cents, a kind smile, or the courage to say, "I'll help." Because in the end, the greatest legacy we leave behind isn't measured in wealth or success, it's measured in kindness, in the lives we touch, and in the hope we inspire. So let us never underestimate the power of one small act of love. It might just change everything.